Hey Jim, you know, today I'm gonna offer up a bit of a cautionary tale. What's to follow here is an entire video that I made over the last couple of days where it was all making mistakes. You know how I like to say, I don't know what I'm doing? Well, what follows after this opening thing here is living proof of that. Everything that I did was reasonably well meaning, but it just all ended up being stupid. And the real problem is I believed what a crappy auto parts store technician told me about my battery to begin with. And that led me on a several day odyssey of trying to figure out just what the hell was going on and why my truck kept killing the battery. And the end result was, it was a bad battery. I got a new battery and it's been 2 days and everything is fine and I didn't do anything else. And then at the very end, where I'm talking about getting an AC reading that tells me, oh gosh, that must mean the diodes in my alternator are bad and all of that. No, what that really means is I was using a cheap-ass Harbor Freight scan tool and this other cheap-ass made-in-China scan tool, and when you put them all across the battery, I figured this out because when I got a 30 volt or 27 volt reading across my battery of AC, then that must mean that my alternator is leaking back and forth. Yeah, no, it's because these are really crappy, low-dollar scan tools. And I started to figure that out because I took one and tried the same test on a vehicle I knew had no problem, and I got the same reading. So, okay. Turns out that I just needed a new battery, and I got one, so the truck's fixed. So, if you don't want to watch me just flounder and just make mistake after mistake, turn it off now and wait for the next video, which will be doing the transmission again on this stupid Mercedes. Speaking of stupidity. Anyway, you can turn it off now unless you just like watching failure. If you like watching failure, thanks for watching.
Yeah, baby.
Hey Jim. Where the heck are you? How did you get in that drawer? Oh, I have further complications with the silly Ford truck. I trimmed back the battery cables a couple weeks ago. They were all corroded. I was having a little trouble with where I thought the battery had gone dead. And I had the battery tested at Pep Boys, and it tested fine. I charged it up, and by the next morning, it's dropped. So I'm thinking there has to be some sort of short or something that's a parasite sucking down my battery. So today, I'm gonna attempt to figure out what the hell is going on that's killing my battery and making it so I have to jump start it every freaking day. That's no fun. Let's have a look. So I've got it on my charger, and I've got it on 12 volts slow, and you can see it's only putting in maybe looks like 6 or 7 amps at this point. This is, you can see the sticker on the side of the battery down there. This battery is from May 2019. It's a Optima Red Top, so it should be pretty good battery. But for some reason, it's just not maintaining a charge overnight. So let me get up on the stool here. Well, when I take my voltage meter here, my multimeter, and right now while the charger is running, it's showing 14.9 across the battery posts. When I started all this, the car was running and I was getting, I think it was 13.7, so my alternator seems to be working. As soon as I shut the car off, the battery voltage started dropping, and I know it drops initially just because of the chemistry changing inside for a few minutes, but it continued to go down. So let's see what will happen when I disconnect my charger here. Okay, so I turned off the charger and we can see that the voltage is dropping, and anything below like 12.1, it's not going to start the car, and it continues to drop. So I guess the first step is going to be to disconnect my battery from the car, at least on one post, and then see if it continues to drop. And okay, it's holding steady for a little bit here at 12:20. Well, it still went down to 12:25. I know I should wait probably a half an hour, but I'm going to disconnect one of the posts off the battery and see if it drops. And if it does, then I'll know my battery's no good, even though it tested okay at Pep Boys according to them. And if it doesn't, then I'll figure out that there must be a short or something somewhere, and then I'll have to start tracing it. And I think I'll have to I'll hook up a this multimeter with to check amperage, and it should be like very, very low amount of drain with everything off on the car. Of course, I have a light under my hood here. I'll have to make sure that's off, but then I'll feel my amperage here, and if there is an appreciable drain, then I'll have to go to my fuse box and start pulling fuses until the drain goes away, and then I'll know at least what circuit my problem is on. But first, let's see if it'll start. Okay, so it started after that charge. Let's go see what the voltage shows. Okay, we can see with the idling, we have just over 14.07, 14.08. So that tells me that my alternator is functioning. So there has to be a drain. Okay, I have the negative side disconnected, and now I'm holding fairly steady at 11.64. When it was connected, it was going down, down, down. Here, let me show you. I will put this back on temporarily, and we'll take our reading. And you see we've got 11.57, 5.6, and then it'll sync to 5.5. Yep, there it goes. So yeah, there's definitely something that's ripping off my battery here. And I've disconnected all of my crazy extra wiring that I had for lights and CB radios and all that. So right now, all I have connected is the factory original wiring. I don't have any of my funny, weird other stuff connected to it. And now it's down to 11.53. But if I take this off, it will stop going down. So now we're going back up, 11.58, 11.59. So there's a fairly large draw. So now we get to the fun of trying to figure it out. Let's go pull some fuses. So the first place I'm going to look is right here, is my power distribution box. There's a bunch of fuses and relays. We got more relays here and there, but I think I should start here. I think there's another fuse box underneath the dash we'll go check that one out if we don't find anything here. So I have the negative side off, and I have an amp meter here in between the post of the battery and the cable, and I started pulling everything out here. And the one that I got some attention on is this one. It's number 22. And I've just read that that's the one that feeds the interior fuse block inside. So I am going to go dig around in that one, because 22, when I pulled that, the load goes away. Well, I started going through all of the fuses under the dashboard, and I got the fuse number 4 and pulled that, and the load went away again. So I look up what fuse number 4 is, and it is the glove box light, the dome light, the map light, and the light under the hood. I know the light under the hood turns off. I mean, you can see it as you're closing the hood. It turns off when the hood gets almost closed. So, glove box light. I examined the switch, and the bulb looked a little bizarre. Could it be that simple? Could it be that just my glove box switch was screwed up and the light was on all the time? I wonder if that would be enough to suck it down. Hey, I pulled the bulb. So I'm going to go ahead and hook up the battery and see if it continues to discharge, or I don't know. That'd be kind of cool if that was the problem. Yeah, we all know it isn't. Yeah, that wasn't it. So it's when I hook it back up, it's still pulling the battery down. So I'm gonna have to keep looking. Damn it. And looking and looking. Yeah. This is I think 2 days later, and I have been messing around with this stupid truck. I ended up taking the battery and completely charging it, and it just discharges, as you already saw. So yesterday afternoon, I charged it completely to where it was sitting at 12.7 volts, 12.6 volts, which is full charge. And within 3 hours, it was down in the mid 11s. So, and that was with the negative side of the battery unhooked. So I unhooked both sides, charged it again up to where it was 12.6, 12.7, 100% charge basically, and it went down to below 8 volts all by itself. So yeah, that battery, no good. So I just got back from Pep Boys, and they did a test on it again, and last time they did a test a week or so ago, they said, oh, it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it, it's your car, there's something wrong with your car. Yeah, they did the test today. Again, their test said, recharge and retest. I tell the lady, hey, I tested it by charging it fully, it discharges on its own. So rather than making me come back in a couple of hours after them monkeying around with it again, they went ahead and did this. A nice, brand new Optima red top. So let me pull the top off and lift the hood here. And I'm going to take a quick measurement of the voltage on it as it stands. And then I'll put it in and see if that does anything different than before. Okay, so put those guys on. We've got if I can get them to actually hit it hard, there we go, 12.74, which is a nice, fully charged, healthy battery. Alright, well, I put the new battery in, and when I have the engine running, as you can see I do here, I take my multimeter, and it'll be hard to do here with one hand, but we can see that if I, hello now, okay, so if I go across the battery with it running, I'm seeing 14.39, which seems to be a little bit low, but it's probably okay. And then the real problem is when I switch it here to AC, there should be no AC. But here we go, I'm showing 30 volts, 31 volts of AC. And unless I'm mistaken, there shouldn't be any AC voltage, I don't think. I think what that indicates is a diode in my alternator has gone bad, which is allowing the juice to flow out of the alternator and back into the alternator. So when I shut it off, the juice is flowing right back through the alternator because the diode's burned up. I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that means I've got a messed up alternator diode, so we're going to do an alternator replacement. That'll have to be for another day. Son of a... Well, now I know that when I come back, I have to run some errands right now. When I come back, I'm going to have to disconnect the battery, because otherwise it's going to run it down and then it'll end up killing this battery just like it did the last one. Now, we don't want to kill another battery. They're going to get sick of seeing me come in with a dead battery that's only 6 weeks old at Pep Boys. They'll eventually stop giving me new ones for free, I imagine. Okay, well, thanks for watching. We'll do the alternator in the next couple of days.